So a lot of you know that the legal tampering process officially begins March 10, and then just a couple of days after that, free agency period officially opens up. But up until that point, it's going to be finding out news that teams won't be able to re-sign certain players or even franchise tag certain players. We did a video a couple of days ago that the Minnesota Vikings won't be able to franchise tag Byron Murphy, which is excellent news for the Packers because one, it gives them a shot to go and get a guy like that, or it's an opportunity for him to depart the NFC North. And the Packers play Minnesota a couple of times a year. So great news on that front. So there's good news that just happened again. And what is that? Well, the Packers, one of the needs on this Packer defense is going to be the pass rush opposite Rashawn Gary. We've talked about that, whether the Packers address that through free agency or in the draft. Well, the Packers aren't going to have to make a trade to go and get a player like Matthew Judon. It says right here the Falcons appear to have made a decision on Matthew Judon ahead of the free agency period. Okay, so there's another article by Yardbarker that came out. It says Falcons may have wasted a 2025 draft pick following the latest report. Man, the Atlanta Falcons are just they're making some terrible decisions as of last year, just giving up a lot of draft capital, spending a lot of money. And we're going to take a look at the overall and the NFL teams out there for the salary cap, where they rank, all that stuff, where the Packers are currently at. So it says right here, the Falcons traded a 2025 third-round draft pick to the Patriots for Matthew Judon during training camp last season. Judon finished the year with 5.5 sacks, 5 passes defended, and an interception to go along with 7 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hits. And he ranked 4th on the Falcons with 25 total pressures. One of the best pass rushers for sure on that Atlanta Falcons defense, and somebody that could make a dramatic impact for the Green Bay Packers without them really having to spend a ton of money and without them having to trade to get him. I know the Bears were looking at trading with Atlanta last year. I mean, with the Patriots last year to go and get Matthew Judon for their defense. But the Atlanta Falcons beat them to the punch. And now the Atlanta Falcons are sitting at not being able to potentially sign him. Why is that? Well, it says right here in this, per over the cap, the Falcons are one of 5 teams above the projected 2025 salary cap, currently at 4.98, almost $5 million over the estimated $280 million salary cap. So where do they rank? Let's take a look at that and where the Packers also rank on that list. Let's check it out right here. You've got the Packers right now. The New England Patriots got a ton of money, right? They have a cap space currently as it sits right now of nearly 120 million. I'm seeing and hearing that the Chicago Bears are probably going to be upwards towards about 92 million when it's all said and done. Of course, they let go of Everett, their tight end, and then a couple of other players just recently to add to that total. The Packers currently on this list are they're at about 45. This report right here says 42.14, but they're at about 45 million of cap space, which is 13th in the NFL. Not bad for the Green Bay Packers, especially given the fact that they're coming off of spending a lot of money, eating a lot of money for Aaron Jones's contract, Aaron Rodgers' contract, all of that, which ate into a lot of cap space in previous years. So the Green Bay Packers are starting to build up some financials when it comes to the cap space, and they're only going to get better if depending on what they do with Jair Alexander, that could be another $17 million, or if they are able to restructure a deal. I would love to retain Jair Alexander. Don't hear me incorrectly. I would love Jair Alexander to be retained in Green Bay. And if he's able to take a pay cut, given the fact of his health history, and the Packers are able to go and sign a bigger name free agent like Byron Murphy, can you imagine those two side by side alongside of each other this upcoming season? Okay, so let's look at Matthew Judon. Okay, so Matthew Judon has had a pretty good overall career. This dude is solely just a pass rusher. This dude is a beast when it comes to the pass rushing abilities. He started his career out in Baltimore. He had 4 sacks, 8 sacks, 7 sacks, 9.5 sacks, and 6 sacks in Baltimore. Then goes to the Patriots, where he had 12.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks, and then he slowed his roll a bit in 2023, of course, only playing in 4 games, and he had 4 sacks. Okay, so he got hurt 4 games, 4 sacks, and then he had 5.5 this last year for the Atlanta Falcons. He's 32 years old. He's got a lot of juice left in the tank. This is certainly a player that could be a great addition to Jeff Hafley's defense when we're looking to add a pass rusher. This is somebody that the Packers can absolutely go out and get without spending a ton of money. Matthew Judon, certainly alongside opposite side of Rashawn Gary, would add some great depth to this Packer defense. And then you got Brenton Cox Jr. coming off the bench, guys like that, which would be instrumental for the growth of Jeff Hafley's defense. Leave your comments regarding Matthew Judon. Let me know your thoughts on him. I think he would be a great addition in Green Bay. And again, the Packers wouldn't have to give up a ton to go and get this guy. And as always, go Pack, go.